So this is one of these amazing things that I just found this. This hold on a second. There's this. This is the city. It's a city in California. I don't even know where it is in California. I'm about to find out right now. Um, Hold on a second. Tustin, California. So it looks like that's maybe an LA County. No, that's an Orange County, California. Right? I think there's an Orange County, California. Um, yep, Tustin is a city located in Orange County, California, in the LA metro area. In 2020, Tustin had a population of 80,276. The city is located next to the county seat, Santa Ana, and does not include the unincorporated community of North Tustin. There it is in relation to LA. Downtown LA is like over here. Right. If you've never been to LA, it's downtown LA, which there's nothing really to do in downtown LA. There's nothing to do in downtown LA. No one in LA hangs out in downtown LA. But what's it called? These beaches over here. Where's Venice Beach? Let me find Venice Beach. Yeah, I mean these all these beaches are different towns. Long Beach is its own town. There's Newport Beach, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa, Redondo, Santa Monica, and then there's the J.P. Getty Museum. It's a pretty dope museum, California. Malibu on the other side of those bluffs, Malibu, and this is LA County is like right here, and then I think this is where's the San Fernando? This is the San Fernando Valley, like San Bernardino, Riverside, like behind LA, and then this is Simi Valley, and that's like next to LA, and then there's like Orange County down. LA is really big, but this is like LA area.
15 years. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, sir. Just pick up today?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You guys been busy?
Not bad for a Friday.
All right.
How about you?
Oh, we're always busy.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
And then the other one I dropped
The
off,
other
I could
one
pick
is
up
due
Monday?
After 2.
Okay, awesome. Have a great weekend.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Take care.
My name's Ryan Newton. I'm a police officer for the city of Tustin. I've been a police officer here for 15 years. I work patrol, I work a cover shift, and you guys are gonna be riding along with me virtually today. I'm excited about it. Just picked up my dry cleaning, which I do every Monday, and nice to have a good fresh uniform to start the week with. Now we're headed back to the station. We're gonna do a little workout, not too much, and then we're gonna change out and hit the streets.
Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar to anybody? You notice how he talks like me? You notice how he talks like exactly like me? So I'm what I sound like. I'm a white male from the suburbs. I'm well educated, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. And I believe that policing is it's effective policing is a community activity. It's something that everyone in the community partakes in to an extent. So what I mean by that is every person has like their personal everyone has their personal bubble, right? And then everybody has their residence. Wherever you are or within your residence, in your neighborhood, on your block, you are the first line of defense. And you being a witness, you are also the first. You're kind of like the first line of the law. You are the law. Um, so, and that's how the United States used to be. In the 1800s, I'm talking during Western expansion. They had these these like little towns with like one sheriff, like in Texas or, like in the Wild West. And I believe that effective policing is a community activity. It's something that everybody is encouraged to partake in. And it's not and it's like kind of like with the friendly bent, it's that's my belief at least. And I believe that I've been alive for a quarter of a century. I've been alive for 25 years. I'm 25 years old. I believe that in my 25 years of life that I have exhibited conduct befitting of a police officer or even of an FBI agent. My character is that good. I don't lie. I do not steal, and I am not violent, and I don't hurt people. Is the one, and that's the one I want to hearken in on. I don't hurt people emotionally, verbally. Like I have never hurt anybody. I've never hurt anybody physically, and I've never betrayed anyone's trust. I've never I don't hurt people. I'm all about helping people. And I believe that in my 25 years of life, in the quarter of a century that I've been alive, I believe that I believe that my conduct is befitting of a police officer. That is to say that I am as well behaved as a patrol officer, if not better. I have never broken the law. I have never broken the law outside of a moving vehicle violation. And I have more than paid, and I have more than suffered the consequences and paid the price, for a knuckleheaded decision I made behind the wheel, with the probably over 1,000,000 miles that I've walked in 3 years. Um, it's just walking in Charlotte. When you're walking the sidewalk, chances are you're the only person walking, and everyone is driving past me. And it's so the punishment that does not fit the crime. What I went through was extremely unfair to me. I think I have a moral issue with it, and I just think it's unfair to me. And what's really hurtful to me is that nobody is that there was no hesitation, I guess, to completely destroy my life almost beyond repair. My reputation, it took me, a year and a half to kind of recover my reputation a little bit, and to earn some respect. And the police department in Charlotte did that without really hesitating at all. It was like nobody, I don't know. Like the way I like to explain it is I've been alive for 25 years. I was born in 1998, and I never was arrested until 2021. It's now 2023. So all you have to do is like a basic ratio, do 2/25. That's 8% of my life. Was being in and out of jail. But then when you look at those incidents, when you look at those cases, at those incidents, individually, I mean, you'll have to take my word for it, but if you were to do a little bit, upon further investigation, you would realize that I never should have been in jail even once, and that this is all just a huge misunderstanding. And it disappoints me a lot that like no one, I don't know, I feel like no one has ever expressed remorse. No one has ever apologized to me, and nobody has even begun to explain why I went through such a horrible experience. And the other thing that really bothers me is how I was being lied to the whole time. Like, I'm not exactly like an easy target for the police to pick on. I don't break the law. I'm responsible. I'm cautious, and I'm very smart. So in order for them to even be able to do this thing with me, they needed 10 to 15 people lying to me full time. And I believed that, and I believed every word they were saying to me. I have a hard time trusting anybody anymore. It's like, it's like, um, yeah, I mean, it's cruel and unusual. Like, it's cruel and unusual. Like, in order to expose me to these criminal elements that they thought that I was going to participate in. And when I did not participate in these criminal elements, they just started making things up, or like, I don't know, just seizing upon the slightest opening, to throw me in jail. That was before I knew my rights. But, in order for that to even be, they told me that I was working with them, and I was all excited about it. I was 22 years old when I met Tegri Koussis, and then I started meeting other police officers. I was only 22 years old, but I was younger than that, like mentally, I think, like, because I was fresh out of my dad's house. I had literally just moved out of my parents' home and was like living and I didn't live alone for like all but 3 months. And then these people approached me telling me that, I had been recruited, sought out for my talent and my skill, and they just flattered me, and like, and I felt all special and stuff. And I was like super, and it turned out that they were just lying the whole time. That really, really bothers me. Like, it really, really bothers me. And one thing, like, if I could say something to the police department, to the individual, to all the police officers working for CMPD, it would be to not be inconsequential. I think that a police officer should be a consequential person. An inconsequential person is someone who does not consider the consequences of their actions before they take them. And I feel like a lot of police officers in CMPD have been extremely inconsequential when dealing with me, not thinking of first of all, they don't realize, the actual like gravity, of their job title. To me, they should treat it like it's sacred almost. But so it's not fully appreciating what they have. You're extremely lucky to be a police officer in CMPD. This is like a really good city to be a police officer in. I feel like a lot of the police officers I've dealt with do not fully appreciate, what they're doing and where they're doing it. But then it's also like inconsequential, not considering even for a moment, the ramifications of your actions on other people. It could do irreparable damage. It can lead to people dying. And in my case, this put the entire city of Charlotte on edge. Like, the whole city was kind of wrapped up in this situation with me. So if I could give, I mean, if my word of advice is worth anything at all, like, I know that I don't have any professional qualifications. I know that I'm self-taught and that I don't have a degree or anything like that. I know that I don't have a dollar to my name, but like, if my word of advice means anything, I would say to not be my word of advice to all the police officers working at CMPD would be to not be inconsequential as police officers. Please consider the consequences of what you're doing before you do it. You cannot be inconsequential. Um, you need to be conscientious and mindful of what you're doing all the time. You cannot be on autopilot, and you can't and it's never no biggie when you make a mistake. As a police officer, when you make a mistake, it's never no biggie. It's like it's like really, and I know that's tough to have to be perfect all the time, but like when it's a pattern that can be demonstrated, then it's not, a mistake. It's that, or then it's just carelessness at that point. But that would be my word of advice. It would be to not be inconsequential, and it's like it's never no biggie when you make a mistake. Okay, and when you make a mistake, like, you should be the first person acknowledging it, and then making it right, but yourself. You shouldn't have to be forced to do that. You shouldn't need to be berated by a supervisor or something like that. And all the talking I had to do just to get, a little bit. I don't know. I don't agree with it, but I'm not some kind of cop hater or something. On the contrary, I was 22 years old, and I was lied to by the police, telling me that I was being sought out for my intelligence and my talent and my skill, and I was like super excited about it, and it turned out that they were lying the whole time. So I've never been a cop hater. Honestly, I never even thought about, like, I didn't want to be a cop growing up or anything. Like, I never thought about the police in high school and after high school. I never even thought about the police ever, 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 ever. And they never crossed my mind. Why? Because I don't break the law. When in 2016, when I graduated from Ardrey Kell, at 18 years old, I never could have imagined that there would be 10 mugshots of mine online, and that I would be in and out of jail, and that I would go through and experience this awful. Well, it hasn't been completely awful. I've had a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot. And I hope people believe me when I say that, like, I am actually better than ever before. I was already a very bright and capable young man, before I started getting locked up by the police. But, like, after an experience like that, I've gone through so much. I was street homeless for like 45 days in the wintertime, sleeping on the street. I probably spent 45 days in a jail cell. Like, a large part of them were like isolation cells. Like, I've been to just about every part of Charlotte. I mean, I've been to upscale Charlotte, where I'm from. I've been to every hood of Charlotte. I've been all over the place. I believe that I've met basically every kind of person that exists. And, it's like I've basically traveled around talking about change for the city that I live in, but my travels have also changed me. I've spent time with grieving people, with mourning people, with people who are laid off, with homeless people, with drug dealers, with habitual criminals. I've spent time, with felons on trial for murder in jail. I spent time with all kinds of people, and I talked to all of them, and had good conversations with all of them. And I don't know. I hope that I leave a lasting impression on the city of Charlotte. I believe that actually I've been a good influence on the police department and the city as a whole. I believe that every police officer who has worked with me, around me, or in spite of my presence having to work around, I believe that every police officer who has worked around me has become more patient and more restrained, and has developed better discernment, better judgment. I believe that is 100% true. So I think that I'm a good influence overall. And I'm going to cut this off right here. It's like 9 p.m. It's October 17th, 2023. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the current administration in Washington, D.C. I would like to thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation for making this video possible. In a way, this is like my they sponsored this video because like there was a time when I thought that I wasn't going to make it because I was experiencing so much harassment from the police department. And my father did a really good move, and he like put me in these hotels like near the FBI field office for like 2 months, and that was when the harassment started like stopped, and like I kind of started living a normal life again. And I would like to thank the FBI. They didn't even do anything. Like literally, like it's just having a hotel room next to them made this possible. So I don't know if they realize that or not, but like I kind of like I revere the FBI. I admire the FBI a lot. Like I kind of look at you in reverence, and like I'm eternally grateful to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They didn't like really like technically do anything, but just being like next to them for like a month or two in these hotel rooms is what like made it possible for me to kind of resume living a normal life of a 25 year old. I didn't I want people to understand me a little bit. So I never really got a chance to be successful as an adult. I never really had a chance to be a successful adult. Okay, I was working and living in my parents' house, and as soon as I moved out at 22 years old, it's like the police started. My roommate for 4 months was an undercover cop. I had no idea what he was doing. I had no idea how bad his intentions were. And, when I met him, like, I sounded more or less like this, probably not this good, but like he knew who he was dealing with. And they chose to do this anyway. And I don't know if it's because they didn't have anything else to do or what it was, or if they just don't care. But I never had a chance to be successful as an adult. And like my youth was like definitely kind of stolen from me. Like other people my age are like drinking like several nights like 2 3 nights a week, or they're smoking out their apartment, and they're just kind of living, they're just having fun. And it's like I didn't get I never had those luxuries that like even though, so I don't know. um and I don't think it's my fault. And it's like you break it, you fix it. And I don't feel like I'm the one who broke it. And I also I don't subscribe to this like pull yourself up bullshit. I don't think that anybody does that. I don't think that I'm ever really gonna go back to normal 100% unless I can get like a commitment from CMPD, to help rehabilitate me. It's not really drugs that are the primary problem. Like members of their police department scarred me, like mentally, emotionally. It has very little to do with drugs. That's a contributing factor. It's something that they weaponized against me. But we're getting high together. But the difference is that only one person is being provoked, or like is being just like I'm gonna cut this off over here, but I don't harbor any resentment or bitterness really anymore. I mean, I almost look at myself like I'm looking up, when I think about reminisce about the past like year or two, I'm looking at a toddler throwing a tantrum as an adult. But like I was not myself. Like the police officers I was around, they did something to me mentally and emotionally that like set me back almost a decade. So I went from being 25 to being 15 years old, basically. And I don't know what it is that they did, but they did something weird with me mentally and emotionally that really, really fucked me up. And it took like over a year for me to like recover to this point where I'm at right now. If you knew me last year, if you knew me 2 years ago, I was actually like in a really, really bad place. They're lucky that they did this with me. because like I'm such a strong and resilient person going in. I'm a really tough person. Like, you notice that you never see me crying. Like, I'm always trying to project strength. And even when it seems like I'm about to crack or like I'm barely holding on by a thread, I always kind of pull it together, don't I? So they're lucky that they did this with me because it's like, I might have lost some brain cells. I might have lost some brain cells, from all the overdosing that they were doing with me. But guess what? I was so insanely smart going in that, if I lost 15% of my brain cells, I'd still have, probably more than most people do. So they're lucky they did this with me. And it's like, and I don't know, like, I guess I appreciate the efforts that they've made, like recently. If I appreciate that. I'm always willing to collaborate with the police department on issues where we can align and find common ground, which I think we can do more often than not. I'm all about bettering the greater community of Charlotte. I've been living in Charlotte for 18, almost 19 years, since 2005. So I moved here like when I was 7 years old. I was still in second grade. I went to Hawk Ridge Elementary School on Bryant Farms Lane in Ballantyne near the Morrison YMCA. That's where I went to school when I moved to Charlotte. I've been living here for 18 years. When I moved to Charlotte, it was like a large town. It was hardly the, cosmopolitan center that it is today. Now this is like a legitimate city atmosphere. When I moved here, it was like a large town. A lot, probably like huge parts of the city, like inside the 485 perimeter, were like undeveloped, like woodlands, forest, not even paved roads. Like that's like what when like the neighborhood I was living in, like when we bought our house here in like 2006 or something. I lived in that house for like 15 years off of Marvin Road and Johnston Road in Ballantyne, about a mile away from Fort Mill, South Carolina. Like that, the area I moved in, like it was just forest. So like, and the first thing I noticed about Charlotte when I arrived here from New York, I was born in Nassau County, New York, and I went to Suffolk County public schools before I moved to Mecklenburg County. I'm from Long Island, and I still have, I feel like I have a lot of Long Island in me. I don't know why, but like, it's man, being from New York, it's like you're like a citizen plus. You're a U.S. citizen, like plus plus plus. Like that's what being from New York is like, because it's like, oh man, when I was like a little kid in New York, one of the really cool things about going to New York public schools is the field trips that you go on as like a kindergartner, first grader, second grader. I was going to like the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island, and it just instills you with like this like huge like euphoric sense of patriotism. So I love America. Like, and it's man, like that. Yeah, field trips you go on as a kid in New York. You go to like the Statue of Liberty, the Bronx Zoo. I went to another Old Beth Page that's in Long Island. It's like a it's like Old Beth Page. If you're from Long Island, you might know where that is. But yeah, I moved here. I mean, like the first thing I noticed was that it was the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. I very much feel like I kind of grew up with the city of Charlotte, like a fraternal twin, kind of like my twin sister. Like I kind of feel like we were like holding hands. Like I don't know. It's as I got older, like more and more of Charlotte was being built, and then I actually worked in construction and general contracting for like 4 years. So like I feel like it's like I feel like I put my actual sweat, and my actual like energy into like building this city, working in construction for so long, and like yeah, I don't know. Like I really, really used to love Charlotte a lot. I didn't like it when I first moved here, coming from New York, but like, I mean, it grew on me because it's like getting, I mean, like moving to Charlotte when I did, it's like you're getting in on something kind of like at the ground floor. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning stages before it, like that. You know, I've been in Charlotte for a really long time, and more than most people, long enough to consider to consider myself a native of Charlotte because although I wasn't born here, when I moved here, like there wasn't anything here. And you know, and it was like a large town, not hardly the diverse and varied and just like teeming with life cosmopolitan center that it's become today. But um, yeah, I mean, I never had I never had a chance to be successful as an adult. Really, I was successful as an adult between 18 and 22 years old when I lived with my parents. As soon as I moved out of their home, in less than 3 months of living on my own, and I was still figuring out how to budget and stuff. But like I was more or less on the right track, and and well on my way to becoming a successful adult. I was like my city just decided randomly to call it quits on me for some reason. I don't know why, because I was working at Amazon and, I was paying my rent and I was just doing what I have always done. Like my entire adult life, I was just doing the things I did with Caleb Humphreys for like 2, 3, 4 years. I was just doing that alone. And then they started going after me. And that has something to do with Caleb Humphreys too. And I'm gonna cut this off over here, but I um, I don't think people. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Like when you're talking to me, or if you're even sitting in my vicinity, you have no idea how much I know about everything. You have no idea, like the things that I've done throughout my life. Like I've done some incredible things in 25 years of life, like with very little. I come from poverty. Yeah, like I don't know if people realize that either. I come from poverty. I was born in '98 to undocumented immigrant parents. My mom used to clean houses like on the South Shore of Long Island for like wealthy people. They used to like my mom used to like clean like some like mansions and like in like the Hamptons of Long Island. They liked my mom because they could trust my mom not to steal. So my mom was a house cleaner when I was born, and my dad was like a baker at a pizzeria or something, or he worked at a bakery, like a bakery in Long Island that like the biggest bakery in Long Island. It's Cardinale's Bakery. It's where my dad was working when I was born, and they like a bakery in Long Island. They supplied a lot of the bread for like the delis and like restaurants in Long Island. My dad was like a night manager at this bakery, and he was like putting himself through technical school at the same time. This was when and he and my mom were like they didn't have a I don't, they were my mom had a car, my dad was like riding a bike to technical school and like to his job at the bakery when I was born. They were barely making ends meet. When I was born, we lived in like someone else's basement in Long Island. Like that's common, like we lived in like a renovated basement with like a kitchenette. Like, I was born into poverty. I saw my parents struggle. I saw my parents pulling themselves into the middle class. I still remember that. I remember when my mom and dad were studying to take their citizenship test. I remember when they got citizenship. I remember when they got degrees from Florida Christian University. I remember when my dad when the company when the startup tech company that my dad was working for was acquired by Microsoft. I remembered that when he was hired by Microsoft. I witnessed my mom and dad pulling my family out of poverty and into the middle class. So I come from poverty. And and even now, like my family, like we do not have that. Like I'm still poor to this day. I'm still poor. So like I've done amazing things throughout my life. If you're talking to me or you're even sitting in my vicinity, You have no idea the things I know. You have no idea how profound I am as a person. So please don't judge me off of first impressions. Don't judge me based off of what you heard from someone else. It would probably take your entire life to fucking fully get to know me and understand me. So I'm gonna cut this off right now, and I'm just gonna cut it off.